Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Everybody's getting off from work and excited to get on with their weekend. Hello from the multiverse. I'm your host, Bad Ty Bricks, here with my man, my co-host, my cohort, my brother, Minnie Morales. What up, brother? What's going on?
What it
Happy
do?
Friday. It's popping.
Happy
Lot to
Friday.
talk lot to talk about, man. Lot to talk about, man. Yo, listen, hey, Manny, Colorado is right now 2-0, 3-0, 2-0,
2-0.
2-0. Got a big game coming up against Oregon.
Yep.
Everybody's got them, well, not everybody, but some of the critics and the analysts have Colorado as the a huge underdog and everything like that. And we've seen what Coach Prime has been able to do, thus far in college football at Jackson State, now at Colorado, and pulling out a big win last week against Colorado State, despite their star player Travis Hunter being injured in that game and not being able to complete that game. Well, I think he did complete the game, but I don't think he was able to put up any numbers or any big stats after the big hit. But there were some comments this week, Minnie, and it seems as though Jerry Jones, not just because he has a relationship with Deion as an owner to a previous player, and I think they got some history. They seem to be pretty good friends or have a good relationship. But Jerry made some comments about how great he thinks Prime is as a coach, and all the things that he's been able to accomplish, and what he thinks Prime will be able to accomplish. Well, it brings up the question, man, right? Is Prime being like primed and for the next level, and is Prime ready for the prime time? Is he ready to it? Do you think the players would react to Prime a different way than they've reacted to other college coaches before?
Well, I will say that. Well, let's start off from the beginning. Is it being? I like. By the way, I like how you did that. Is it being prime for prime time? I like that. As a matter of fact, everybody. By the way, he's not wearing a Cowboys jersey. I guess you can't tell the colors. That is not a Cowboys jersey he got on before you make the mistake of thinking that. Um, I believe he is being groomed. No, I don't think he's being groomed. Even though I do think at the end of the day that might be his what he ends up doing, and for no reason other than if he has a chance, I think to coach his son in the pro level, I think he will take it. If a team will say, "Hey, we will give you the coaching and we'll draft your son," I think he might jump on that. But other than that, I don't think you can really get Prime to do whatever unless Prime wants to do it. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of cat he is. Is he ready for it? I believe that he's more ready than a lot of other coaches that have been thrown in the fire because sometimes no matter how good the coach is with the X's and O's, the things that mess them up is the fact that they can't relate to the players. A lot of players look at them like, oh, you never played, or they're not relatable, like cool enough to relate to the players. Prime defeats all that. He's Prime, he cool as hell, and he played at the highest level, so you can't discount that. So I think that helps him when it comes to if he ever goes to the NFL. That's going to help him with especially with young players who might not want to hear what old coach. It don't matter what old coach you pick. That might want to say. They might want to hear a younger guy who screams out, put on my theme music, and it's freaking, here I come, here I go by, mystical. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, ain't that many coaches doing that. You know what I'm saying? So Prime got it in there. And by the way, the game tomorrow, the game on Saturday is gonna be a pretty good game and pretty tough game the way I look at it because of not having Hunter, who's really the heartbeat of that team and defense, other than the quarterback, of course. And speaking of the quarterback, that man's about to make $4 million this year. 3.8 he's slated to make this year on an NIL deal. That also brings up the question, how Should kids even, go straight to the NFL after 1 year, or should they stay and try to make a little bit of money?
So let me get this straight, Minnie. Not 3.8 thousand, but
No,
3.8 million dollars.
million on the NIL deal. He's so think about this. Let's take he's a quarterback, so that's high numbers, right? But let's take a running back. We talked about running back for weeks in here. So let's take a running back in college who might be slight to make maybe 2.5, 3 million, right? Should he go to the NFL and maybe not make, you know what I'm saying, not make that dollar, maybe even risk injury, or stay in the college for 1 more year, make another 3 million, maybe even more, because the name is bigger and it goes by percentages of sales and all that kind of stuff. And you might be able to come out of college doing 2 years, coming out with 6 million, which is not that bad for a running back. So
Woo,
these
these numbers, like I don't want to get sidetracked, but those numbers are absolutely ridiculous. You going from not paying the players at all to millions and millions of dollars to college kids. I think that all the players should get paid. I don't know what number becomes excessive, but I think that all players should get paid, or at least have some coverage in play as well to cover them if they get injured or anything like that.
Right.
They're still. But let's say hypothetically that Prime does very well this year, and they make it to a major bowl game and they win the bowl game. And next year, he not only has some of the same players that he had in his two sons and Travis Hunter, if Travis Hunter decides to stay, because they've been saying a whole bunch of stuff about that kid. But if he decides to stay, they also bring in the top class, right? Like you think about all of the kids that are coming out of high school that are seeing what's going on at Colorado, seeing Lil Wayne pull up to not the halftime, but to walk the team out and to do all of that kind of stuff. You got all of these different, he's just one of many stars that pull up all the time. Like, so this is something that happens on a regular at Colorado right now. And this was something also that was happening at Jackson State. So it's kind of a culture that Deion brings, is that, we gonna have fun, we gonna do it, but when it's time to work, it's time to work. And but these are some of the frills of being part of the program that we are putting together. So when you see these young kids seeing these and looking up to these stars and looking up to these different rappers and all of that, and then they're pulling up on the campus and kicking it with Deion and kicking it with the team and talking to the team, then that could be a selling point. That could be the selling point that makes you decide whether or not I want to pull up to Alabama, or do I want to pull up to Colorado, and what I'm saying, and stuff like that. So hypothetically, he does well, team does well, they win a bowl game. Next year, top class, they go all the way to the chip, win it all. Now he's reached the culmination, right? Like, the culmination is get the championship. I've coached my sons 2 years in college. At this point, if you put all the pieces around Shedeur should be probably a Heisman candidate, or at least a Heisman nominee that second year. In that second, he might well be a Heisman nominee this year while you're playing.
He could.
But once Deion does that, your kids moving on to the next level. Now they're going to the NFL. Your dream is always has been to coach your sons. And you have that opportunity. Do you now change your way of thinking of saying, hey, I want to teach these young men, and you find that opportunity to go to the next level and chase greatness? Is that something that Prime not only would be ready for, but would the NFL be ready for Prime at that point? Because you're talking about him being not just the superstar that he already was, but a mega superstar, because now he's taking a team that was what one. I think they won one game
1-11.
last year. They won one game, so they were like 1-11 last year. So they were 1-11, and this year they're already 2-0. So he's already doubled the wins that they won in the entire season of last year, which is already a big accomplishment. But I'm sure there's more wins to come. But if that with all that being said, I mean, come on, Minnie. Like, is this one of those things, man? Like where Prime would be too big for prime time? He'd be too big, like his star.
They're gonna hate. They're gonna listen. I'll say this to answer your question. First of all, I think if he wins the ship, he out. If he wins the ship with his son, he out. I do believe that. Even though I did say that he probably would only leave if he had to coach his son in the NFL, but I'm pretty sure if he wins the chip, whoever was gonna want his son is gonna want him too. But the problem is, it's gonna be all the teams wanting Deion and his son, and that could get him, and whoever doesn't is going to be hateration for the rest of his days because they're not going to stand him. It's just the way. Imagine Deion after the chip, like see the way he is now. Yeah. Imagine how much he gonna talk after the chip. Like he's just gonna talk, and don't let him win the Super Bowl championship as a coach, because then we gonna have Deion for life. You know what I'm saying? Like this man is never gonna shut up. So I is the NFL ready for the for prime? I don't think so, because honestly, what people sleep on is how much he really cares. You know what I'm saying? Like people see all this smoke and all these mirrors, and they forget how much he really cares. And if the NFL put him in, he's gonna try to change some things. The NFL ain't gonna want to be changed. So is the NFL ready for Deion? Probably not, because he's not gonna chuck and jive and be like, oh yeah, let me be the, you know what I'm saying? He ain't gonna do that. If he sees something wrong, he gonna call it out. If he see a rule that don't work, he gonna call it out. If he sees like stuff that is just like the NFL is doing to this and that, and it's Deion, he's gonna call it out. He's not gonna keep quiet. He's not gonna work with the system if it's hurting people. You know what I mean? So that part.
I mean, Minnie, you brought up a point, right? You said that like if Deion wins a chip, if they win a chip, he's out. But is that the truth? Is that really his driving focus? Because if his driving focus has always been to coach his sons, then you want to coach your sons up to their utmost potential, right? So if even if they say for in a hypothetical, they were able to win the chip this year. Let's say they were able to do it this year. Even if they were able to win that chip this year, Shador is not guaranteed to be a number one pick.
He wouldn't be ready anyway.
He wouldn't be ready. So if they won the chip and Shador isn't ready, you come back to Colorado.
Yeah, you got to make sure.
If Shiloh's not ready, you come back to Colorado and you keep coaching them up until they're top 10 picks each in their respective side of the ball, on each side of the ball. So when I hear you say he's out, I don't know that he is out if they win a championship. I think he would be out when he realizes that his sons are in the best possible situation.
If we going hypothetically winning on the second year, I think he'll be out. I don't think he'll be out this year because he recognized he wouldn't be ready. I think I really do like the kid, and I really do think if you give him 2 to 3, he's done ready. Like he's good. Like the kid is good. The things he doesn't have is the things that he can't work on because it's just to change the game when you get to the NFL. Things are gonna be faster. Schemes are gonna be trickier. You can't practice that. You could, but you can't practice game speed that. You know what I'm saying? You could in the practice field, whatever, with your dad, because your dad knows a lot, but it ain't gonna be the same. So the things that he's gonna fail on when he gets to the NFL are things that it's just a learning curve. I think he has everything he needs to actually be like really, really good. I don't want to say great, but really, really good. So I do think in the second year, if you want a chip, it will give him the not just the expertise at that level of pressure, but the confidence that I can win at a really high level with the skill set that I have, and all I need to do is learn a little bit more, and he will go out, and I would think his dad would think he's ready too. But if it was gonna be on the first year, like this year, I don't. It would be on some. I don't want to say fluke, but it would be like he won it, but he didn't win it like so convincingly that people are like, "Oh, you need to go to the NFL." He just won it. Maybe the defense won it for him. You see, like it's not gonna be a decisive thing. Like who he threw for 400 for the Fed championship game, and you know what I mean, blah blah.
Yeah, that is a possibility. But I mean, again, he has two sons, which is
Yeah, it's a
you're just
fact.
mentioning one. You're talking about
Yeah, that's
Shadur,
true.
but
That's true.
Shiloh is also there, and he is also playing defense and looking for an opportunity, maybe to go to the next level as well. So you have to watch both of their growth, and you have to monitor both of their growth, and also, nurture whatever it is that needs to be nurtured. But Shiloh is a great player as well, and that's why I want to make sure he's mentioned when the thought process comes into Deion going to the next level. I wonder how the players, and then we'll move on to something else. This is my the last part of this, but I wonder how the players in the NFL react to Deion, right? Because this would be the first time you ever have a player of Deion's magnitude that is coaching. I think there's been player coaches before. There's one in Detroit right now. I think with I think his name is Dan Quinn, or Dan something. But I know he was an ex-player and he's not also now coach. But I don't think we've ever had a coach in the NFL like a Deion Sanders, because you're talking about arguably the best cornerback to ever lace up, those cleats
Right.
and play on that turf. So
By the way, let me cut you off. We're saying arguably, who would you put over him if you had a chance? If you had to pick somebody, since we're saying arguably,
man, that's tough.
ain't it? Because I'm like, when you said that, the first thought that came to my mind, I'm like, who the fuck arguing that? Like you gonna
I
have to sit
mean,
there and argue it for real. Because there's a lot
there,
of good players, but it's so
there
much.
are there are, and I mean, I would have to really dig in my bag and have to bring up some names and everything and start looking at some numbers and stuff like that. But Deion, I mean, for what Deion was able to do with it once he got it,
Yeah.
not many that was doing it like that. But in no, that's my question. Like, how do the players react? How do the
They gotta
players
respect
react
it.
to
You don't gotta like it, but you gotta please respect it. Like Tupac said, you ain't gotta like it, but you gotta please respect it. Like, what could you say, especially if you're a corner? I'll be damned if Dion is your coach and you a corner and you're not out here with your ear out trying to listen to every little detail this man says. It's not like you won't get any better coaching from anywhere else. So you see what I'm saying? Like it's a different type of. When I played ball, which I didn't play super ball, but I remember it was a different click when I met my coach, Coach McClendon. He won a Super Bowl with the Vikings, and he was a they didn't have nose guard, they just had inside tackles. And I remember as soon as he said that and pulled out his hand, his finger was all broken. He had a big old rock right here that was the ring. Everything he said after that just made triple sense. You know what I'm saying? Like I'd rather listen to him than every other coach because I'm like, he did it. Like he went and did it and got it, played, was a starter, got a ring. I can definitely guarantee everything this man says, it is what it is. So it's a difference. You know what I'm saying? If you don't feel like that, then I don't know what motivates you because like I said, most of the gripe with players, especially football players, is the fact that you didn't play, you didn't play, you didn't play at a high level. Because it's really hard for people to play football at a high level. Like, yeah, it's hard to get it in the NBA. It's less numbers because there's so many people in the team, in the football team. But when we talk about like stars, you can count a bunch of NBA stars. There's not that many NFL stars that you can really like. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's just so hard to be that good, let alone be able to coach too.
Yeah.
So You gotta respect it. There's no, I don't see a grown man looking at Deion and being like, I ain't gonna listen to this motherfucker say. Like, what is wrong with you? Like that is
I
that is
don't see it.
Deion Sanders.
I don't see it. I don't see it happening either. I don't see anybody in there not respecting what he's been able to do for the game of football and everything like that. So it would be an immediate. But what I'm wondering is the NFL ready for him? Bringing the show that is Deion Sanders
Oh, they're gonna
in
love
the
it.
NFL. I mean, I like it. It sounds good. It sounds good until it it starts to
But
get
they don't.
until it don't, because like right now you can get away with some things on those college campuses that you might not be able to get away with in the NFL locker room. But I'm just assuming. Maybe Dion has some pull, and they're like, yo, long as you get those W's, we'll let you slide.
You
Um,
know.
but I want to take this moment to thank everybody in the comment section who's pulled up to support the show. Appreciate y'all live and direct in those comments. Also, anybody who is listening on your audio devices, maybe on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or any of your other listening devices, we appreciate you as well. Stay tuned. If you are just joining us, we were discussing, is Prime ready for prime time in the NFL? Prime being Deion Sanders, for anyone who doesn't know what prime means. Is it time for Deion to start thinking about the next level? Is he prepared for it? Is the NFL prepared for it? Tap in. We definitely just had a nice conversation about that. But also on this show, we talk about more than just sports. And today, I had the opportunity of watching a show that we talk about a lot on this show, which is Ahsoka. And I'm gonna be honest, man, I fell asleep. Um,
How dare you, man?
I did.
First of all, you're gonna treat her with respect, and you're gonna give that woman a last name. Her name is
Yo,
Ahsoka Tano. You
listen,
better respect the name.
listen. I fell asleep, brother. This was
How
one of
dare you?
those episodes where I fell asleep. And listen, I wanted to share with you the part that I fell asleep on,
Please,
which is the craziest. But I
please.
fell asleep right after Thrawn appeared. Like,
Oh
like,
Lord.
like right after Thrawn,
Oh,
right after
Lord.
that, the big reveal, Thrawn.
Granddaddy Admiral Thrawn.
Spoiler alert! If you haven't seen it yet, it came out on Tuesday. All right.
Yeah, come
Uh,
on, like you should
but
have seen it.
uh, but listen, yeah, when he came out and you know everything,
Man.
it didn't hit. It's like these are all of these big reveals, and even and another thing, shout, yo, I'm just gonna say this, right? What's wrong with keeping things secret? Why do all of these writers now, and not even say necessarily the right, well, it is the writers because they're the ones doing it. But why? What is the deal with not keeping anything secret? Like keep it, like how big of a reveal would have been if we wouldn't have known if we would have seen Thrawn and then Thrawn pulled.
Oh, okay. I see what you're
You know
saying.
what I'm saying? Like knowing that he's casted in the cast, knowing that he's appearing in the series, knowing that Ezra is appearing in the series, it just leaves nothing to be desired. It's like, okay, so now you're just watching the episode, like, when are they coming to showing
I
up?
hear you.
Oh, and so when Thrawn pulled up, I wasn't. So I was like, no, this is not how I wanted. I was thinking this would be a different way to. He's been thriving out here. Like, what do you mean? This is wild.
Grand
This
Admiral
is
Daddy
not how I
Thrawn.
remembered him like leaving in Rebels. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, come on. He was swallowed up, and it like you're trying to say that, oh, they let the ship out, let him thrive over here and everything. Come on, wow, this is wild, crazy. But
Ty,
sleep.
if I must interject, you fell asleep,
I,
sir.
I
So
did.
you didn't catch the part when he was talking about how his troops were dwindling and they were down to not that many fighters, and that's why they couldn't send a troop out to go ahead and scout with the two little no Jedi's. So he wasn't
I
thriving. If you look at the
Nah,
suits that the
yo,
stormtroopers
Minnie,
had,
nah,
they
nah,
were
nah, I'm
all
not
messed
letting
up
you
and
live.
dirty and
Nah,
all
Minnie,
messed
I
up.
can't let you live.
It's
This is
granddaddy Thrawn.
what this feels like. This feels like, Minnie. This feels like white people and black people's definitions of being broke. It's like black people when we say we broke, we don't have no money. We broke. We don't have shit. When white people say they broke, they might have 1,400 in the bank. Like
You
it's
know,
like I only got 1,400. So it's like, but you got something. So
he middle ground Kanye,
when I
bro.
hear
You know
you
what I'm
when I
saying?
hear you say the troops were dwindling, yet
Dwindling, man, dwindling.
I saw what came out before he came out. That did what is dwindling? I was look like about 100 troops. Like I look
Boy,
like
that was
about
100
a
deep.
hundred, more than 100 deep, probably.
Look, you don't thought he
So,
was Fat
so
Joe in
when
New
you,
York.
yeah, when you say dwindling, like you mean what are you saying? We're down to 50,
He
we're down
he
to
had
10.
he had
Dwindling
a
to
thou
me
wow.
means like if 10 of y'all pulled up on us, we might not make it because we dwindled. But we're talking about a few hundred soldiers that he has that like, yo, y'all are thriving, bro. Like y'all
He
are
had a whole
thriving.
thou. He had a whole thou wow, and now he has 100, 200. You know, he went down. You know what I'm saying? It's hard times out here. He's spending gold on the helmets because it's so hard out here for a pimp. This is what I was trying to say. I will give you the fact that that might not have made the most sense. I will give you the fact that the casting. Okay, when it comes to the casting thing, I think we all who love surprises or actually not knowing shit before we see it hate it. The problem with that is it's so public when people get casted that people blast it online and you can no go nowhere without realizing or knowing who's casted for what years before the movie even comes out. So it's like hard to get away from that kind of stuff. But I get it, trust me. And
I
I
don't know many. You saying you get it, but he had three whole witches of Dathomir out there chilling with him, bro. Like you're
they
saying
had
you
to
get
find
it,
him. They had to
bro.
find him.
Bro, they found him. He was listen, not
What the
only did
hell?
they find him many, but they had already made a plan. They had already devised the
Oh
plan.
yeah,
They
he was
was
pimping.
already like he was like, I didn't know this wasn't part of the plan. Oh, y'all done been
Yes,
kicking it and everything. Yo,
yes,
bro, like this
yes.
idea that he wasn't, man, stop
They were
it.
sending the whales back and forth. You know what I'm saying? They were
Oh
sending messages on
man,
the
come
whales.
on,
But this
man.
this is all I'm saying. He did give up Thrawn vibes. The man was cold hearted. The way they wrote his actual text. I did like it. I liked the lines they gave him. He did sounded like he was cold hearted. Sounded like what Thrawn I believe would sound like in that situation. So I did like that completely. I'm not down on this. I like the show, man. I like the
Yeah,
show, man.
you can like the
I
show.
think I think watching I think the biggest problem is they did a show about something that was so good already. They should have picked something else. You can't do a show about something that was so good already because it's so hard to match that. And you're not I don't think you're ever gonna match anything like Rebels or anything like that. It's just not gonna I don't care what you do, it's not gonna be as fire as the first time we saw it. So I think that was the first mistake was even making the show to begin with. They could have made the show about something else, not storylines that have to do with rebels.
Nah, they could have the show. I'm glad they made the show itself. I just don't like the way they went about it. That's like putting everything out there is not always the best way to do it. And the fact that again, we knew there was going to be a throne reveal. We knew there was going to be an Ezra reveal. Like if knowing that it is, but not knowing when it is better. Like if you're planning on doing that, then don't give either of them to us this season. Just give
Right.
us all build up everybody. Let me just see Zeb and let me see, Callum and the rest of the crew and you know what I'm saying? Let me see those people. Like don't like let me see Kanan again. You know what I mean? Like Bill, let me see all of those people and then we'll get to the real bread and the butter of the whole show with a Thrawn and a Ezra reveal at some point. But to have it all come out the way that they've kind of rolled it out, and each time I see it was none of it was like, oh my God, you know what I'm saying? Like I think the biggest oh my God moment for me throughout the series thus far has been Chopper,
Mm.
um, the Loth Cat, you know what I'm saying, just because I know what they represent, you know what I'm saying? So and just like those parts, like not necessarily the characters. When I saw Hera, I was like, at first I wasn't too impressed, but now I kind of like this the version of Hera. Um, but outside of that, man, the show is meh. It's still meh, and I can't get above a meh for me, man. Like and there's not a lot that I'm watching these days. There's not a lot going on out here. And so the fact that I'm tuning in and it's just because I have to. But Loki's coming soon, so
Yeah,
I'll
Loki might save the day.
it
Loki might
has
save
to,
the day.
man. It has to save the day.
Loki might save the day. But I will say once again, Ty, I will say I believe that some of these feelings come from the fact that it was already done great. It was already done in a great way. So there was no need to represent these things again because it wasn't going to catch the same kind of fire. You were not going to get that same kind of excitement. You had to go real extra to be able to catch that. And they did. They kind of like thought that just by putting the character on the screen was going to give you that, and it didn't hit.
Nah, like I said, they could have went different. I'm gonna tell you something that would have blew people's minds. Like for those who are fans of Clone Wars and Rebels, if they would have had like a Ventress like reveal, like at some point she came out and we seen Ventress. Yo, come on, man, that would have been bigger than a Thrawn or what you call it, just for the simple fact that Ventress character throughout Clone Wars and I don't know what she was in Rebels, a couple of episodes of Rebels, right?
Yeah, I believe so. But would that make it better if they did it now? It's not over yet. You still
Nah,
got
I,
three
I
episodes.
would have done it before I would have done the Thrawn and the Ezra reveal. Like I said, to do it so early, it just kind of it's like, okay, so now what?
Yeah, it's kind of true, but I'm expecting something big. I'm expecting something big.
Something big, like what? Like what
I
is it?
don't know.
It just doesn't seem nothing has been like man, it just hasn't. The trajectory is off. It doesn't feel right. But look, man, we reached that moment, man. We reached that time of the show where we got to depart ways and meet back here next week. But I want everybody out there to enjoy their Fridays. Stay safe on these crazy streets in this crazy traffic that you're probably in right this very moment. And be safe. Minnie, you got any shows coming up, man? Anything going
Yes, Saturday I'm with Jersey, the Haitian Sensation. That's gonna be in Orlando. I will be in October 2nd. Y'all, sorry, it's October 7th. Don't forget, I will be in the University of Florida doing a show for the University of Florida. That's gonna be great. We're gonna tear the house down. I want to talk about how they kicked me out twice. It's gonna be cool. Remember, you can always find me at Minnie Morales 53. Not actually Minnie Morales 53 in any social media. And yeah, man. I will be seeing y'all soon. And I know you're gonna catch Ty on Saturdays at New Blur Order.
New
Yay.
Blur Order 10 a.m. Yes, every Saturday. Tune in. And listen, sometimes people ain't gonna like you, man. But hey, I always say,
boy, just be yourself. If people don't like you if you're being yourself, fuck them. Let me tell you something. I used to go with a girl, man, about your age. I tried to please her Peppy all the time. Went out my way to please her Peppy. I come in one day, I said, nice weather we have. Said, you can't say that. You can't say that, it might rain. I said, nice tie you got on. So you can't say that. My wife tried to choke me with it. Point I'm trying to tell you, son, is be yourself. People don't like how you be yourself. Fuck them. Fuck them up against the wall. Wear handcuffs on and crazy through on their lips. That's all you do.
Words to live by.
You live by them, son.
Okay, I'm gonna